Hello, hello, hello. This is Nana and keeping you in the know on Nana Knows channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I would like to go ahead and do a little cooking in the kitchen. And what I would like to cook will be some oxtails. I was looking at some recipes. Most of the recipes called for 8-10 hours in the crock pot. I don't have time to cook it that long, so I'm going to use my own method of cooking it in the oven, which is a lot quicker. It takes about 3 hours, give or take, depending on how you like it, but it's a lot quicker than 8 to 10 hours. So stay tuned, and I would like to show you how it's done. I like to start off with browning my oxtails in a skillet. We're going to start off with a teaspoon of cooking oil just to get it brown. I like to do that to give it a nice color. And then I'm gonna, of course, make a gravy once it's brown, and then I'm gonna bake it in the oven. Let it bake and simmer in its own gravy that I made. But we're gonna start off first seasoning. And this is a pound of oxtails that I've already cleaned. And when I season, I really don't measure out. I grew up watching a lot of Louisiana cooks, like my mom, my aunties, my grandmother, and they always just season by sight. And that's how I've always done it too. I just season according to what it looks like it needs. That's the Cajun Creole way. That's the way I've been taught, and that pretty much works for me. So just whatever seasoning you like. What I'm using today, I like a little Cajun seasoning, some black pepper. I'm gonna use some parsley also. You know, mix it up. Like I said, season it as you like. We Louisiana cooks are a little heavy on the seasoning, so my seasoning may be a little heavy for you, but I like it spicy and well seasoned. You may like yours a little less. Once you've reached your desired seasoning, then you may want to go ahead and move your oxtails. So you want to go ahead and move your oxtails to your skillet, because your grease should be nice and ready now. Because you want to get a nice browning. I like my oxtails to get a little cooked before going into the oven. So go ahead and move your oxtails over. You just want to kind of brown it in the skillet. And while it's browning, I'm going to go ahead and start off making my gravy. I'm going to brown them on each side. Go ahead and start preparing my gravy. I need to go ahead and start warming up my oven. And I want to cook it on about 350, should be good. So I could be letting this oven preheat while I'm doing the gravy. And for the gravy, I just use your regular brown gravy mix that you can find at any store. Every store pretty much carries it. It's just to get my gravy started. I'm going to go ahead and turn some of my oxtails because we don't want them to burn. We just want them to get a nice little browning done. Just to get the good flavor started and going before we stick them in the oven. Looking good, looking good. That's how we want it to look. Let it simmer. Okay. Moving on to our whisking. Add this brown gravy mix to my saucepan. And then we're slowly going to add water to it. I have it on a very, very low heat. And we're slowly going to add the water. And start to whisk it as the directions say. This will be a good time to go ahead and add the parsley in. Some people too, if you choose to, you might want to put your onions in the gravy mix. Or you can just throw your onions in there when you add it to the pan to go into the oven. Either way, it's all going in the same place. So you can go ahead, and our gravy is going to just thicken up some. Just going to keep whisking it while it thickens up. And I'm just going to add a little, I like to add a little seasoning and the parsley to my gravy. And our oxtails are browning nicely in the skillet. And here's the gravy. I've added the parsley. And the parsley is pretty much really just for presentation. It really doesn't have a flavor or anything. It just makes it look nice. And you see it's starting to simmer up. Just adding a little seasoning. And we're going to keep allowing it to whisk and thicken up. Make a little gravy there. As we can see, our oxtails continue to brown nicely. And our gravy is really beginning to sizzle up and thicken up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cream of celery. Or you can use cream of mushroom soup, but I choose to use cream of celery. I'm going to add that to the gravy mix to help thicken it and to help with the consistency. So I'm going to add this cream of celery to the gravy mix. And just going to stir it in and whisk it up. It just adds to the thickness. I'm going to let you get a look at this. See what it looks like. With my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. This is the gravy. See how thick the cream of mushroom soup makes it? So it'll be a nice consistency to have those oxtails simmering in this nice brown gravy while it's baking for these 2.5, 3 hours. Hopefully it's 2.5. And smelling this and looking at this, I'm beginning to get an appetite. I'm ready for my Sunday dinner. Okay, see how nice the gravy looks with the parsley in it for presentation. Little something, something in the kitchen. I know a little something, something. Nana knows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn these off, remove these from the heat. See how nice they look? They're nice and brown. Like I like it. Nice brown. Caramelized. Okay, all right, so we can go ahead and move these oxtails to the baking pan. And I just sprayed the baking pan with a little cooking spray. And we could just put the oxtails right on in there. We're going to cover them and bake them. And it's up to you. Some people prefer to put the onions in the gravy. I just go ahead and put the gravy right on top of the oxtails. And then I throw the onions right on in there too. It's all going in the same place. See how nice this and thick this gravy is? I'm gonna pour it right on over the oxtails and put those onions right on top of there too. And let everything just bake together in this baking pan. I had already pre-cut and cleaned my onions, so they're ready. Just gonna add this. We're just gonna add this hot gravy right onto the oxtails. See how good that looks? We're just gonna let it all simmer together, and we're gonna bake it all together right in the oven for about 2.5, 3 hours. A lot better than 8 to 10 hours. Nana knows. Okay, and this is ready for the oven. I honestly would have preferred to use our white onions, but all I had was the purple onions, so they have to do in this case because it's a lazy Sunday. And the Nana is not trying to go to the store. I'm trying to stay inside today. Okay, so I'm gonna cover it up and let it bake for about 2.5, 3 hours. We're gonna bake it, and I will come back and let you see the finished product so you can judge for yourself. I'm gonna be cooking the rice in the meanwhile because I'm gonna serve this right over rice. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please consider liking and subscribing so I can continue to bring you more videos to keep you in the know. Because remember, Nana knows. Okay, it is 3 hours later, and look at that. Nice thick gravy. Tender. Falling off the bone. Tender. Just like I like it. These oxtails are ready to be plated. The rice is ready. This is ready to be eaten. And it didn't take 8 to 10 hours. 3 hours. Tender and juicy. Okay, and we're gonna plate these right over the bed of rice. See how nice and tender they are? See how nice and juicy the gravy is? I can't wait to taste these. It is so delicious. It came out exactly like I wanted it. The gravy is nice and thick. And I decided to make some carrots on the side. Here we go. The finished result. Oven baked oxtails done by Nana Knows. Keeping you in the know how to do a quick, fast, delicious meal.